Hello there, this is DBT, and these are the Vrooms. And alright, let's continue playing some Ace Racer. Now, there's a whole bunch of things to do over here, a lot of things to talk about, but I want to start just with a race. Because I think that is obviously the most important thing. Is the game fun? Can you race in the game, and is the racing enjoyable? The answer, to me, is yes. Absolutely yes. Now, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the gameplay itself, but first, I want to make a little bit of a clarification on the fact that this account, DBT's Vrooms, is not the same account that you saw on the previous video that I did last week, where I basically explored the game as a whole, right? But I did say in that video that I created a new account. You saw me trying to enter the name, and it was DBT's_Vrooms, because I wanted you to see the game from the very beginning, but I had already created this account that I'm playing on right now. Now, why did I switch back to this account if I had actually invested quite a couple hours in the other version of the game? Well, the answer is simple. In that other video, you may or may not remember that there was a part where the game has an introductory gift. They give you a 10 times pack where you can unlock a bunch of things in that 10 times. And then it had this option of reshuffle, and it had a counter of 50. I did understand that was going to allow me to reshuffle the rewards and get different stuff, and I think I did one reshuffle. But the situation there is that I settled for a very meh reward. I got a car, but turns out that the car that I got was a common car, and on top of that, the reshuffle really can open the possibility to getting a lot of good stuff. And on top of that, the reshuffle never happens again. It's just like a one-time thing for like an introductory gift to the players. Not only you get the 10 times pack, you can also choose which rewards you're gonna keep, or rather, which whole reshuffle of the times 10 you get. So I realized that was definitely something that was not gonna be coming back in the game. Like I used it, and that was that. I'm never gonna get it again. So I decided to go back to my old account. Well, old account, I mean the one that I had created literally 20 minutes before I recorded the video. But I went back into that account precisely to make use of the shuffle, and oh, let me tell you, it was absolutely worth it. Why? Because thanks to that reshuffle, I didn't get one common car. Instead, I got 3 cars, one of them actually being a rare. So that's kind of interesting. Now, I wanted to start with a race just because, you know, I feel like in the end, that's what matters, right? Seeing the racing, the action of the game, and all of that good stuff. But before we jump into another race, I want to quickly show you the cars that I have acquired right now. I have been playing completely in a free-to-play fashion, meaning I haven't spent a dime on the game. Everything that you will see is what I have gotten from playing for free. And here's my garage at the moment. Yep, I have 9 cars. So again, oh crap, I didn't mean to select that. Well, actually, yeah, that was my starter car in this account. And then on the shuffle, I got this, the Disruptor. If I remember correctly, I got the BMW i8, and I also got the BMW M4 Racing, which, even though it's a starter car, I just like how it looks a lot. So now I have the 2 starter cars with the big wings, so that's kind of nice. So I got that, I got another bunch of stuff, and from that I just have been playing. Now, for example, this car that I was just driving, the BMW M8, this is a car that you can get from daily rewards, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. That is a problem that I have with this game, and I'm just gonna go over it really quickly, because I want to make another video on this topic later, once I have, you know, processed the UI a bit more. But there's so many buttons everywhere, so many like tickets and credits and tokens, but then you go over here and there's this special type of semi-currency, then there's this other one, then you go into the fashion festival and it requires these things which apparently are exclusive to that. You can go to, where can we go? I don't know, let's go over here. Oh, there's some reward for, I guess, for the amount of people playing or something. Then there's this that I don't know what it is, and there's 7-day share. There are basically currencies everywhere. There's these keys in order to try to unlock this thing, or I don't know what that is about. There's so many things to do, like over here, for example, our points. We have yet another semi-currency over here that I barely know what they're for. Journey in Pink is the one we saw with the keys. Then we have the treasure hunt, in which you need these things that I don't know where you get them or what's the point of them. Then you can check, I don't know, where else. Over here, what is the objectives? I don't know. Or what is the currency? So that is a problem that I have with this game. Currently, there's too much, and I don't quite like these things. I'm not quite sure what they're for. There's so many things going on at all times, it's kind of overwhelming. So that's what I want to focus mostly right now and doing some races. And I'm doing it on practice because it's kind of alright. Precisely, the practice mode is to drive on one particular track with whatever of the cars that you own. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me show you this, for example, the Disruptor, which is one of the rare cars that I unlocked through the reshuffles, which in the end, again, was the main reason as to why I wanted to use that other account. Honestly, the lobbies don't take too long to load, which is kind of nice. I appreciate that. Right now we're doing a practice race with a team, and we have 2 Speedster and my... What is this called? I don't remember what this thing is called. But yeah, let me talk a little bit about the gameplay itself, because that is, I think, the part that is going to be the most interesting, or the thing that would interest to most people other than the UI. You know, the UI in theory is secondary. What you want to know is if the gameplay is nice, if it's good, if it's fun. And to that I can say, to me, it's a lot of fun. Though I have seen a bunch of complaints from other people, and I understand where they're coming from, but I have to give you my opinion on this whole thing. The main thing that I've seen is people saying that the physics on this game are weird. The driving feels weird, that, yeah, overall the physics are strange. And to that I'll say, yes, they are. They are. I think I mentioned this in the previous video where I compared it a little bit to Asphalt 7 in the drift sense. And yeah, it definitely reminds me of the Asphalt 7 drift, although quite a bit more refined, but it's kind of the same concept. But actually, you know what? It's not a bad point of reference, Asphalt 7, because also the driving feels a little bit like that in the sense that, or rather the physics with the collisions, how you hit a wall and it feels kind of strange. If you hit a wall dead straight, it's weird how it kind of just stops you. I don't know, it's weird. It is a little bit weird. Does that detract from the fun of the game? In my opinion, no. And this is the part, I was actually talking about this recently with the boys over at Discord, that I don't think it's a fruitful comparison to say that this doesn't feel like Asphalt 8 and Asphalt 8 physics are better and whatnot. And the reason why I said that is well, I understand obviously, if you have only been playing Asphalt 8 for all this time, you're very used to it and that is what you enjoy. But to want this game to feel like Asphalt 8, it is a little bit of a no can do. Racing games, especially arcade racing games, every single arcade racing game has its own feeling, has its own physics, has its own everything. So expecting one to feel like the other, hell, not even Asphalt 8 to Asphalt 9 feels similar. They are in theory similar in concept, but the feeling of the game is completely different. And it's the same argument that I've seen over there. That, oh, Asphalt 8 feels so much better than Asphalt 9. Well, ask a person that has played Asphalt 9 only and then send them to Asphalt 8 and they're gonna hate Asphalt 8. That is basically how it works. You get used to whatever game it is that you have been playing for a long time, and that is what you consider it to be the norm. But the reality is that that is just how that particular game rules and physics and feeling is. That doesn't mean that it's the de facto best way that a racing game should be. And like I said, I am mainly an Asphalt 8 player, so obviously I do feel a lot. I'm gonna switch vehicle now just to show a little bit of variety. I don't think I've driven this very much. I do understand, obviously, that this game feels very different than Asphalt 8. It does feel a little bit clunky, feels a little whatever. But in the way that I make sense of this, because remember, I played a bunch of arcade racing games, be it from Asphalt 7, Asphalt 8, Asphalt 9, now it's Racer, but I remember that I also played the Horizon Chase, I played a little bit of Real Racing 3, I played, what was that? Did I mention already Horizon Chase 2, and computer games. I played Need for Speed, from Need for Speed 3, Need for Speed Heat, Need for Speed Unbound, Need for Speed World. So, you know, we can just keep on listing, Burnout Paradise, and every single one of those games feel different. That's why I say that trying to just compare one game to the other and say like, hey, this doesn't feel like that other game, so I don't like it, I don't think that's the way to approach this. Every single arcade racing game feels different. Hell, even simulation games, from what I understand, in spite of the fact that they try to, well, simulate reality with the physics and all of that, they can have very, very different feelings. So that is why I don't judge this game solely on, hey, it feels a little strange. It feels a little different. That's what I'm gonna leave it at. Now, with all of that rant out of the way, and by the way, I'm not trying to say that someone's opinion is invalid. What I'm trying to say is that it's not as simple to go and listen to someone say, oh, the physics are weird, so not worth it. I don't think that's the way to go. But anyway, once you kind of get used a little bit to the physics, it's actually very enjoyable, because while the cars are ridiculously creepy, and you can see that you can do 180-degree turns without much of an issue and all of that, the fun in this game doesn't lie just on that alone. It's also on how you use the tools that you are given. And I'm not talking about abilities just yet. I'm talking about, for example, the fact that you can do the drift like this, then you can use your turbo for a tiny bit of extra boost. You can combo it with your regular nitro, use your nitro in order to charge your ultimate. That alone, it's interesting to me because it adds this additional layer of, hey, it's not all about going nitro at all times or anything. No, you have a little bit of nitro, but you also kind of have to manage your turbo, and then you can also manage your special ability, which is this one, which, I mean, I don't understand just yet what it does exactly. It's driving itself. I've seen that some cars do that, but hey, I'll talk a bit about the abilities in a second. But this thing, along with the turbos and managing your nitro along with the turbos, I think it's kind of a fun thing to do. If it's a little additional layer of buttons that you have to press without making it extremely complex. That's what I like. That at least the in-game driving, it's very straightforward. It looks complicated. The first time that I saw this, so many buttons everywhere, I was scared. Like, holy crap, I don't know what I'm doing and all. But after a half hour of playing, I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. And that's not to say, obviously, that I'm a great player by any means or anything. I'm barely learning how to do it. But, you know, normally this type of games, the way that they work is, you know, a good game, it's based around being easy to pick but hard to master. Now, is this hard to master? Who knows? I haven't gotten there yet. But is it easy to pick? It absolutely is. And I gotta say something else. Let me change the vehicle again just to show again something. We already saw this one, so let's use the Aston Martin. Though I think we used this in the previous video, so let's use the i8. Let's switch to another road, to Cliff Edge. Oh, and I gotta repair it. I still don't know what happens if you don't repair the car, but it's so cheap to repair that, hey, so far that's fine. But yeah, it's I find it definitely interesting. And then there's this whole thing about the teams having a support, a speedster. Unfortunately, this team is a little imbalanced because we have two speedster and one support, while you're supposed to have one of this, whatever it's called. So basically, when you're doing a team, there's those three archetypes. There's the speedster, which is obviously fast, goes fast. That's the main idea behind it. Then you have the support, which, as the name implies, is one card that through its ultimate or whatever is going to be helping your team overall. And then there's the other one that I don't remember. I want to say Disruptor, but that's actually the name of the car. But it's kind of the idea that it's a car whose abilities or its abilities are meant to mess around with other players. Maybe slow them down a little bit. If you touch them, kind of push them to the side or something. And overall, when you're playing in a solo race, I don't imagine that that's gonna play too much of a role. But when it's on a team race, it can absolutely help. Because if you have support to help you charge your ability faster, then your ability is good to make all your opponents slower because you are the type of disruptor, whatever it's called. That is indeed kind of fun, I think. It makes an interesting idea of, hey, it's no longer just about, hey, pick the fastest car. Maybe you want to pick a car which is going to be really good in conjunction with the team. Now, obviously, because I'm doing pubs right now, I'm matched with whoever. So it's not like there's a lot of planning going on or anything. Let me use my ultimate just because why not? So yeah, I think it's an interesting thing that additional layer of strategy in a racing game, which honestly I never thought this would be a thing, you know, like abilities for each one of the vehicles and how do they play with each other. I never thought this was a mechanic that I wanted on a game, And that's not to say that I want every game to be like this, but the fact that this game is like this and it focuses on being like that, it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting proposition that I hadn't seen in any other racing game. So that's kind of dope, I think. Like I said, I keep on repeating, this is going to be very subjective on whether you like this or not. But let me tell you, I am enjoying the fact that races are in 30 seconds. Look at that. That was almost 2 minutes worth of a race. I like that. I do. In fact, this game, surprisingly, even though it's a mobile racing game, arcade mobile racing game, it doesn't have the two things that bother me the most. At least not yet. I have to check if that's going to change. But at the moment, it doesn't have the two things that bother me so much nowadays of any free-to-play racing game that I download. The fact that this, number one, doesn't have 30-second race. It's not super short race. They're short. 2 minutes is not a lot of time. But they're not 30 seconds. Because honestly, that's annoying. And you know what? The other thing that also bothers me is when it's a 30-second race and you have limited fuel. And you're like, oh, really? I'm not going to show the 4GT just yet, even though I do have it, but I want to explain a little bit about that. Let me use... No, you've seen this in the previous video. Let's use the IDR. The other thing is that this game doesn't seem to have fuel. No limits on fuel. So it's not like Asphalt 9, where each one of the cars had a specific amount of fuel, and once you use it up, you cannot use this car for I don't know how long. It doesn't have that. From what I've seen, and again, I could still be corrected. I'm not saying that what I'm saying right now. Oh Jesus, we have 3 supports. I don't think that's a good team balance. But so far, it seems that there's no fuel, so there's no limitations as to how much you can be playing. And honestly, that to me always made sense. Don't you want people to be addicted to your game so they'll play it as much as possible? I don't know. I suppose that a game like Asphalt, or a lot of those games, are meant to get you hooked with small doses, and thus the limits on how much fuel and how many races you can do. And now Asphalt 9 has this annoying system, right, of the fuel. In Asphalt 9 it has it where each car has its own fuel, but there's a lot of games that I have tried that it's shared fuel, meaning that you only have, let's say, 10 fuel, and that means you can do a total of 10 races. No matter which car, no matter what, it's your 10 races and no more. And oh god, I hate that so much. You have no... Oh, I messed that up. My bad. I absolutely hate this. So, again, the fact that the races aren't super short... Oh yeah, and combine limited fuel with super short races is like, oh great, I'm gonna use my 10 fuel in races that last 30 seconds each. Wow, I'm gonna have so much fun, right? So yeah, the fact that it lacks, or it doesn't have either limited fuel or ridiculously short races, make this already enjoyable to me, simply because, hey, I get to fire it up and I get to drive a little bit. In the time of this race alone, we would have already have done 2 races of the 30 seconds. I like this so much more. And again, is this subjective? It absolutely is. Maybe you like 30-second races, but let me tell you, for me, that doesn't work out. The fact that these races are slightly longer without being, 6 minutes per race, to me, it's pretty good. I like this duration for the race. It seems like a decent one for a mobile game. So overall, the gameplay itself, I have found it to be really, really fun. Again, physics, yeah, they're a little bit weird, but overall, it's nothing unbearable, and once you get the hang of it, it actually gets to be really fun. Now, right now I'm winning because this is just a practice race. I'm not even sure if I'm racing right now against people. I guess I could find out if I put something like a face or something, if someone responds, but I don't even know. Now, there's also ranked race, and I should probably show you a little bit of ranked, although over there, it's a bit more difficult, because being ranked, you want to be using good cars, and a bunch of these cars that I have unlocked, I have not really upgraded, so they're not gonna be amazing. Oh, no, I didn't mean to invite. No, I'm out. I don't imagine that my cars are gonna be doing amazing in ranked, but I want to show you that there's also a rank mode. And I've played a bit, not too much. I've done, like 20 races in ranked or something? 22 races I've done in ranked. And it's fun, because in ranked you can also get another guaranteed car by doing a total of 90 races during the season, which is gonna end in 37 days. So you absolutely have time to get it. So overall, it does seem like... I'm gonna pick again. This is... No, you know what? I'm gonna bring back... Oh no, we gotta try this. What's the deal with the 4GT? The 4GT, this car, I don't technically own it, but my club owns it. I'll talk about the club again in a second. Let me do a race. But this car is kind of mine, but it isn't. It's of everybody's. And I want to see. Apparently this car is not amazing, but hey, it's a beautiful car. And since we don't have Lamborghinis in this, okay, what do we have? We got support, we got a speedster. This is a balanced team. It has support, speedster, and whatever this is called that I can't remember. Does it say anywhere? No. Okay. So yeah, there's no Lamborghini, but at least there's a 4GT, which you may or may not know that it's one of my favorite non-Lambo cars, so count me happy for it. But yeah, after this race, again, remember, this is a ranked race, but it's, I mean, kind of the same. I'm gonna show you a couple more things that are not necessarily directly about the races, but about adjacent systems of the game, which are kind of interesting. Fun, maybe. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at my beautiful 4GT. Okay. Oh, you saw how my car went a little bit smaller? I think that was precisely one of my teammates doing their support actions. Again, remember, there's roles or archetypes for the cars. This car that I'm driving right now, its archetype is a speedster, meaning he goes fast. That's all. You know, if you've played like, I don't know, let me think, Overwatch or some game like that with a bunch of different classes and all of that, I think a speedster is the same as a DPS type of character in those games, where it's all about the damage. Well, this one is all about the top speed. So yeah, there's for the same reason I think a lot of people love to use the speedster, but honestly I think there's I haven't encountered too many people to marry to that idea alone, so I do see people switching the roles. In fact, I think that in my team someone did switch the role. I'm not even sure. Oh well. Alright, this was a slightly shorter race, but still, look at that. A minute, 15-20 seconds. That is not bad. That is not bad at all, in my opinion. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. Oh yeah. So, I did say, okay, hold on. Who was the MVP? Someone else. Okay, cool. With the support. Nice. Alright. Very nice. And I got something that I don't know what it is, so that's cool, I guess. See, this is what I'm saying. A lot of things that I'm getting that I have absolutely no idea what they are about, what they're for, anything. So, hey, whatever. But all right, let's talk about something else. It's not directly the races, but it's something that matters. Remember I said this was a club car? That is because we have a club. Oh yeah, baby, I have created House of Rooms Club. Oh yeah, and actually we already have 19 people in the club. A bunch of the boys have already joined. And you are free to join if you're playing this game. However, keep in mind, this is an American club, meaning in the Americas region. If you're playing in a different region, this club will not show up. But if you are from the American region, then search it up as House of Rooms with the capitalization, because if you do all lowercase or all uppercase, it's not going to show up. So just HOVR, the uppercase one. But yeah, you can join. Now, what's the deal with the club? I don't know just yet. Apparently there's gonna be some stuff that we gotta do as a club. I haven't figured it out just yet. I'm still very much in the process of learning the game as a whole. But yeah, there's that club, and in the club you can actually purchase a vehicle for the club to use, which was that 4GT. I purchased it with the club funds, which is donations that the club gives, the members of the club give to the club itself. I bought the car and everybody's able to use this car. Now, whether or not we upgraded that remains to be seen, but yeah, there is that. So that is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Like I said, there's a bunch of the boys, and actually over here you can see that there's my two accounts. This is the one that I did the previous video with, but you can see that I stopped playing around here, and I haven't opened it again. And today and all of these days I've been playing with this account, the one that I did all the shuffles. And yeah, but there's a bunch of other people over here. So if you want to join, that would be cool. Now, there's one feature that unfortunately is not working, which is the club race. You at the moment cannot join a club race. However, it's not much of a problem because you can go into a race, then go to a custom room, create your room, and then you can set up the room and invite your people. That's how we were actually playing with AC the other day, because you can create rooms like that. So that's kind of dope. As far as the character, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. You can see that my character looks very, very peculiar. That is because I'm wearing right now a costume. a temporary costume. I have 21 hours to be able to use this. It was provided for free, but it only lasts this amount of time. I do have other permanent costumes. I think this is the starter costume. Then I unlock these that were for free. I have been unlocking also some like different hairstyles and a hat and whatnot. So yeah, and obviously different parts. You can unlock all of that. Now, seeing all of this customization really makes me think a lot about what Asphalt 8 did with adding the avatars and all of that. How long it took them to make them visible with the bikes and all of that. Over here, you can see your driver with its clothes and all of that through any of the cars. So that's kind of dope, I guess. And I understand that maybe you're not necessarily super into the customization of the character, but hey, to me it just means it's another layer of visual, how can I put it lightly? Visual eye candy. Yeah, let's leave it at eye candy. So yeah, that's kind of what the game is about, what it's, how it plays, how it looks, something else I think it's worth mentioning, it's the performance of this game. Holy smokes, does it perform nice. Now, I'm not gonna say that this is the most optimized game, but considering that it's a game from, what is it, 2021 officially, 2022, and only now got released globally, it's a very new game, much newer than Asphalt 9, and let me tell you, this performs so much better than Asphalt 9, both in the emulator that I'm using and also on my phone. So it would seem that there was a lot of polish put into this game in order to make it as performant as possible, because obviously the more people that can play the game, the more people that will play the game. If you make a game that is incredibly demanding on resources and all of that, there's a very good chance that there's going to be people who will not be able to play it simply because their phone is not able to run it. So yeah, you can see how this game focus was a lot into making it accessible, making it friendly right at the very beginning. Again, it remains to be seen how super pay to win it gets later. Probably very much, but hey. But yeah, like I said, welcoming at the beginning, friendly, at least with the specs of the device that you need to be using. So I think overall, this is a good start to try to break the status quo. Is that how you say it? That the Asphalt series have created. I mentioned this on the previous video where I felt like there needs to be a change of some sort as to what is happening in the landscape of racing games in mobile, because the Asphalt franchise has been king of the arcade racing for so long that they are able to get away with a lot of BS that they're pulling, you know, with how Asphalt 8 has been getting more and more boring. They're adding less and less stuff. I don't know if they're really finally trying to let the game slowly rot or what's happening there. Then with Asphalt 9, with the incredibly abusive monetization system that it has. So that's why I say that to me it's a great thing that there's a new competitor, a new big competitor to that. And because obviously there's a bunch of other small games, but a small indie game is not gonna be able to compete with the behemoth that Gameloft is. So it takes a behemoth to face another behemoth, which is the case of Tencent versus Gameloft. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm really curious to see where this game goes, what else is gonna be happening with the game. Again, I will be making a bunch of content on this game because I do see myself playing this a fair bit. Now, I'm not gonna say that this is gonna become my second most played game or anything, but it could be. I really just don't know. I need to see what happens with the game and if it keeps me engaged. And let me tell you, so far, it definitely has a lot going for it, even though it also has a lot of things that I don't find necessarily great, like the fact that it's always online. But, you know, it's a game with no pretenses. It's just like that from the beginning, and that's what it is, and nothing else. So, alright, that's where I'm gonna leave it for this particular video. I just wanted to give you a bit more gameplay and my thoughts so far on where the game is. Over the upcoming videos, whenever they come out, I'm gonna keep on talking about the game, how it feels, how it plays, and all of that to see maybe you will be interested in playing this, and, you know, maybe this will help you a little bit to figure out if it's something that you're interested or not. But, like I said, that's gonna be all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, and stay safe. Bye-bye.